The Kid and the Wolf. Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful village by the fields, a mother goat was preparing to leave her little home to forage for food. She turned to her young kid and said, "My child, I must go gather food. While I'm away, you must not open the door to anyone unless you are absolutely certain it is me. If a wolf comes, he may try to mimic my voice or appearance. Before you open the door, you must ask him to let you see his face, show his white feet, or let you hear my gentle voice clearly. Nothing less than full proof will convince me. Promise me you will not open to anyone else." The kid nodded solemnly and promised to obey. As the sun dipped behind the hills, darkness settled, and the kid, alone in the dim cottage, secured the door tightly. Under the moonlit sky, a hungry wolf stealthily approached the cottage. Its eyes glowed with hunger as it crept up to the door and called out in a softened voice, "My child, it is your mother. I bring food for you. Do not be afraid. Your mother's voice is gentle, isn't it? Open the door for me." The young kid listened carefully, noticing that the voice sounded rough and gravelly rather than the usual sweet tone of its mother. It replied, "Mother, your voice is hoarse and not like the gentle melody I know. Show me your face so that I may know you are truly my mother." The wolf, enraged by the kid's suspicion, dashed off to a pile of stones nearby and rubbed its throat against them until its voice softened. With a faux tender tone, it called again, "My child, come quickly. Your mother is here. Open the door and embrace me." But the clever kid still hesitated, glancing down at the wolf's black, pointy paws. It said, "Mother, your feet are not white and cloven like mine. Show me your feet, for a mother's feet are always pure and clean. Only then will I believe you." Frustrated, the wolf raced to a nearby mud puddle and coated itself thoroughly. Returning, it said, "Look, my child, see my white feet, for your mother is here. Open the door now." Yet the kid observed that the wolf's eyes seemed strangely mismatched and slightly cloudy. It asked, "Mother, why do you have only one clear eye? My mother always has two bright, kind eyes. Show me your eyes so that I know it's truly you." Realizing its deception had failed, the wolf howled and bolted away into the forest. Inside the cottage, the kid bolted the door and raised an alarm, attracting the villagers. They emerged with torches and pitchforks, driving the wolf far from the home's threshold. Soon after, the mother goat returned, carrying fresh, sweet hay. She found her cottage door slightly damaged and her kid trembling but safe. She embraced her child and praised its wisdom. "My dear, you have done well by trusting your instincts and asking for proof. Let this be a lesson. Never trust appearances or voices without confirmation, for even something that seems safe may conceal danger." Morale: never trust appearances or voices without verifying the truth, as deception can hide behind the sweetest melody. The Deer and the Watering Hole. In a quiet, expansive forest, a young deer bounded gracefully across hills and meadows. One day, it grew extremely thirsty and searched for a watering hole. It discovered a small, deep pool, its surface muddied by algae and aquatic life, making the bottom unseen. The young deer bent its neck to drink, and as its reflection appeared in the water, it marveled at the elegant antlers crowning its head. The gentle ripple of water against its nose captivated the deer, and it gazed at its reflection, admiring the splendid tines on its antlers. Unbeknownst to the deer, a lion crouched nearby, waiting. Seizing the moment of the deer's preoccupation, the lion lunged with ferocious speed. Yet the deer, entranced by its own mirrored image, remained motionless, forgetting to flee from the predator. As the deer continued to stare at the magnificent antlers reflected in the water, the lion sprang, sinking its fangs into the deer's flank with a deafening roar. The deer collapsed in pain, its reflection shattering in the pool as it fell into unconsciousness. Morale: do not be so enamored with illusions of beauty that you lose sight of reality, for negligence can lead to destruction. The Woodcutter and the Golden Axe. Once upon a time, a poor woodcutter eked out a living by chopping wood in the forest to feed his family. One day, as he struck his axe near a stream, the handle slipped from his hands, and the axe plunged into the deep water. The woodcutter was heartbroken, for the axe was his livelihood. He knelt by the stream and sighed. "Oh, axe, you are my only tool to feed my family. If you are lost, I do not know how I will survive." Suddenly, a water spirit emerged from the depths, holding two axes, one shining gold, the other gleaming silver. The spirit asked, "Which of these is your axe?" The woodcutter stared at the golden and silver axes in awe. Deep in his heart, he knew his own axe was a common iron one. If he spoke the truth, he would not receive the gold or silver axe. Yet the woodcutter was honest. He replied, "I'm sorry, spirit. My axe is none of these precious ones. I lost only my simple iron axe. Forgive me, for I do not own the golden or silver axe." Pleased by his honesty, the water spirit rewarded him. "Because you have told the truth, take all three axes, gold, silver, and iron, and use them wisely." The woodcutter gratefully received the axes and returned home with joy. From that day on, he and his family never lacked, and they lived happily. Moral honesty and integrity bring forth blessings and deliverance from hardship. The Miser and His Gold. Once upon a time, there lived a miser who possessed a vast amount of gold. He was so stingy that he hid all his gold under a large stone in his cellar and refused to sell or use it. Despite owning such wealth, he lived a life of poverty, eating simple meals and dwelling alone in a small hut on the edge of a field. Every morning, the miser would descend into his cellar to inspect his hidden treasure. He feared that someone might have stolen his gold. Only when he saw the stone covering the pit and confirmed that the gold remained untouched would he breathe a sigh of relief and return to bed. One night, a colony of mice living in the cellar began to burrow through the soil. They gnawed at the underside of the stone, causing it to shift and dislodge. As the stone moved, some of the gold coins poked through the earth, and the mice nibbled away at the gold throughout the night. The next morning, the miser went down to his cellar and saw a few gold coins scattered on the floor. At first, he was overjoyed, believing he had found new treasure. But when he moved the stone and looked into the pit, he discovered that his entire hoard of gold was gone, devoured by the mice. He wept bitterly, realizing that his greed and refusal to put his wealth to use had cost him everything. Moral greed and the refusal to make use of one's possessions often lead to utter loss. The Mouse and the Thief. Once upon a time, two thieves learned that a wealthy home was filled with gold and treasures. They decided to tunnel under the wall of the house to sneak in and steal the riches. Late at night, they began digging quietly, the scrape and clatter of their shovels echoing in the darkness. Within the walls lived a little mouse. Startled by the noise, it scurried back to warn its fellow mice inside the house. The brave mouse ran across the wooden floor above the thieves' tunnel, its tiny feet pattering and scratching with every step. Hearing the scurrying above, the thieves became unnerved. They paused their digging and whispered to each other, fearing someone had discovered them. Unable to see in the pitch-black tunnel, they could only hear the frantic squeaks of the mouse moving overhead. Convinced that intruders or the homeowner might be alerted by the noise, the thieves panicked. Hastily, they abandoned their tunnel and fled, leaving their tools and dreams of treasure behind. The next morning, the homeowner inspected the wall and found tunnels had been dug beneath it. He also noticed the mouse holes and realized how the small creatures had thwarted the thieves. He repaired the wall and sealed the openings, ensuring the safety of his home. The thieves never returned to attempt another theft. Moral, even the smallest creature armed with courage and righteous action can defeat great evil.